Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a viewer request and we will be going over the NATASHA DENONA 28 pan palette in purple blue. This palette retails for $239 and it comes with this faux patent leather cover. I have it in white, but I believe that within the past few months, they have now switched to black. One of the things I like about this is it is super easy to clean. This palette is a flap style palette. There is a mirror on the upper flap. And then we do have a piece of acetate here with the color names and code identifiers. This here is the palette. The palette has 28 2.5 gram shadows. So these are full size. And for size reference, one of her minis has 5.8 gram shadows. So there is a significant size difference between the shadows. A mini palette retails for $25, and this one is the Mini Glam. Let's go ahead and do some swatches. As you can see from the swatches, there are so many beautiful shadows in this palette. I love the colors. Green shadows and purple shadows are two of my favorites to use. And typically I gravitate more towards the blue violet type shades. I prefer them to have more of a blue base versus a pinker or redder base. And one of the things I like about this palette is you've got both shades in there. You've got the more of the pinky purples and more of the blues, and they mix together beautifully if you'd like to create your own shade. Another thing that I think is great about this palette and the green brown palette is that there are plenty of neutrals. You don't have to use any of the bright colors. You can easily create a neutral look, and the neutrals, there are some that lean more warm and some that lean more cool. If you are unfamiliar with NATASHA DENONA's formula, I would definitely recommend picking up one of her mini palettes before investing in a full-size palette like this. Since these retail for $25, they're a great way to introduce yourself to the brand. And one of the things I like about the minis is that the 5 colors, there are typically going to be at least 3 different formulas in there. And NATASHA DENONA uses a variety of formulas. So even here, you can see that some are going to be softer and more glittery. You've got some mattes, you've got some satins, and those are the things that you'll be getting in these larger palettes as well. Quality-wise, I think the shadows for this and the green brown palette are stellar. There have definitely been complaints in the past about some of her mini palettes. However, the more recent ones, Mini Glam, Mini Gold, Mini Retro, they have all gotten stellar reviews for quality. And the ones I have do match up to the quality in these larger palettes. This palette does come with a couple of duochromes. We have this shade here, which is called Golden Rose. And you can see that this is going to be a pink and gold duochrome. This one down here at the bottom, Calypso Blue, is also going to be a duochrome. And you can see you get this like rusty shade. You also get hints of purple and blue in here as well. So it's a really unique shade. Some of my other favorite colors in here would be this one, which is metallic blue, as well as this, which is petroleum blue. These 2 metallic shades are just beautiful. This blue is a metallic, kind of a steel slate blue, and this teal shade is gorgeous, and just the quality of the metallic finish is really nice. Nothing is chunky. One thing to note, this shade here, the silver, is called Chromatic, and this shade is a little bit more glittery and more prone to fallout than some of the other shades. Put this here at the top, but you can see that you can definitely spread it out. It's smooth, it doesn't feel chunky at all. However, when you do go to use it, for example, I use it a lot as an inner corner highlight, and in that case, you do get some little glitter chunks that kind of fall down. But if you're spreading it on your lid, it really is just very smooth and beautiful. You can sheer out the silver or leave it more intense. Before we move on to the looks, let me just go through my thoughts on this palette. I think this is a great palette. I love the range of colors in here. I love having the teals and the blues and the purples. I love the neutrals, both the warmer toned ones and the cooler toned ones. I think there's just so many looks here, and even colors that I thought I would never use, I actually do end up using. And I just think that they are really well curated. This palette really makes me step out of my comfort zone because I do want to use all of the shadows in here. So I have found myself becoming more creative using this palette. When I first purchased this palette, I was very intimidated. I actually kind of left it alone for quite a while before approaching it because all of the colors and how to use them, it was a little overwhelming for me. Eyeshadow is not my forte. So what I did was late at night before going to bed, I would play around with the shadows and then, wash my face before bed. Or, get up in the morning before I took a shower, I would put on some more eyeshadow and just kind of play around with the colors and experiment with some of the different combinations. And that made me a little bit more comfortable with the palette, and then I started using it more frequently. So overall, I really enjoy this palette, and I'm very happy that I have this one and the green brown. Between the two of them, I personally gravitate more towards the shades in the green brown. I just love some of those more khaki toned greens and the neutrals in there. I just, those are probably my favorite eyeshadow colors in general. So this would be second choice purely for color selection. The quality in both of them is stellar. Now, as to whether or not I would recommend this palette, I definitely would recommend this palette. I think it's a fantastic palette. I love this one and the green brown palette. However, I would not recommend purchasing this for full price. I do think $239 is a hefty price unless you are somebody in the makeup industry, such as a makeup artist, and you'll be using this all the time. Then the $239 seems a lot more worth it. But for the average consumer who probably will not hit pan on all of these shades, I think the $239 is a hefty price, and you might be better off purchasing some of her smaller palettes that you would use more frequently. One thing to note is I purchased this during a buy one get one free sale on NATASHA DENONA's website. It was part of one of her Black Friday promotions, and for that price, this palette is definitely worth it. I would think even for 20% off or so, if you get it during one of the Sephora sales, I definitely think that that would be a good way to get this palette as well. Now that we have summed up my thoughts on this palette, let's go ahead. I have 4 looks to show you. There are timestamps down below in the description box, so please use those, and I will see you later. Thanks so much. Sonia G Classic Crease into 12M Glaze. Sonia G Builder Pro 38M Gray Brown. Same brush, 05M Calypso Blue. Same brush, 70P Cool Plum. Back to the Sonia G Classic Crease, no shadow. Rephr 03, 80M Piggy. Esom T05 11M Metallic Steel Blue. Same brush, 38M Gray Brown. And this is the final eye look from a distance. So Niji crease 2 into 58M Golden Beige. Same brush and the color below that, 60M Golden Rose. Just getting it on the tip. So Niji Builder Pro 09M Quicksilver. Same brush, 11M Metallic Steel Blue. Esom W36 into 92M Petroleum Blue. Sonia G Crease 2 No Shadow. Using my finger, going into 04M Chromatic. Just using a clean finger to tap out the edges.
Sorry.
Rougher 03 into 04M Chromatic.
So I'm using this my foundation. It is.
Esom T05 into 01V Navy.
I'm putting my jacket on my lip.
Wiping off the brush and bringing in just a little residue from the silver to meet the navy. Same brush, 24V Aubergine. And this is the final look from a distance. I didn't finish the rest of my makeup yet, but this is the finished eye look. Rougher 15 in 75P Satin Skin. Same brush, 11V Steel Blue. Chikuhodo T7 into 28V Electric Violet. Same brush, 23P, Smoky Plum. Finger, 49M, Vintage. Back to the T7, no additional shadow, just tapping out the edges. Back with the Rephr 15 with just a tiny bit on the tip for 11V Steel Blue. Taking a dampened microfiber cloth and just cleaning up some of the fallout a little bit. Sonia G Smudger 2, 92M, Petroleum Blue. Same brush, 28V, Electric Violet. Wiping off the brush, 12M, Glaze. Taking the Smudger 2 and just making sure the edges are joined. And this is the final look from a distance. Esom G34, 40M, Lavender Gray. Esom S33, 38M, Gray Brown. Back to Esom G34, no shadow. Sonia G Soft Shader, 22M, Maroon. Same brush, 92M, Petroleum Blue. Same brush, 63M, Oxide. Back to the Sonia G Soft Shader. I just got it damp with a little water, no additional shadow. Just gonna press on top in the center. For the lower lash line, I'm using the Sonia G Flat Definer, and I'm just gonna follow these colors, starting with the 92M Petroleum Blue, the 22M Maroon, and then the outer corner, the 63M Oxide. After wiping off the brush, I'm just going to run it over the 3 shades. Using the side of the flat definer, going into 04M, Chromatic. And for the upper lash line, I'm just going to use a black eyeliner pencil. This is the final look up close without mascara or anything. I haven't done the rest of my makeup, so I will clean up these edges when I apply that. And I'll be back with a distance shot. And here is the final look from a distance. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment box. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.